Okay, scholar, practitioner, leaders, SPLs, artificial intelligence scientists, AI scientists. We are back to our week 7 again, and we're continuing on with this lecture 2 of 4. Now, I do want to piggyback on lecture 1 of 4 for our week 7. I didn't mention our third assignment that's going to be due this week as well. I mentioned it earlier in the overall 1 of 4 lecture, but I didn't mention it as we closed out the 1 and 4 lecture. So I do want to be concise because you guys know me. But yes, we do have that group, the third assignment. I mentioned the discussion posts, as well as the peer responses, the initial discussion posts and the peer responses. And then I mentioned the case study, but I didn't mention our group assignment. So yes, we will have a third group assignment. Okay, so that's going to be here in week 7, our third assignment. So I did want to piggyback on that. So now let me go back to our week 6 and close out that before we do a deep dive into the remaining items from this past week 6. Okay, the assignments and everything. All right, so let's go over that and close out this week 6. So that way, on our lecture 3 of 4 and 4 of 4, it will be all about this current week 7. Okay, so with that being said, we are currently in our week 7, of course, and it's for the second bi turn of the summer of 2025 for our transforming business with artificial intelligence. Our section number for the University of Cumberland's is MSAI 599 B01. And again, that therefore mentioned for our second bi turn. Okay. Now, let's finish going over the things that we did last week because we had some good things, even though it was somewhat of a shorter assignment week, which again, I gave you guys that reprieve slash woo-ha. That way you guys were a little bubbly coming here into our week 7, hopefully feeling good, now ready to grab the bull by the horns and really go ahead and knock out this week 7 with your teams as well for your group project. But we'll go over that in our last lecture, okay? Lecture 4, as I previously mentioned. Okay, so back into our week 6. Still want to wrap that up, guys, because again, we had a lot going on in week 6. And as I mentioned, we had those 2 chapters that you guys read and took good notes on, right? It was all about artificial intelligence in insurance in week 6, along with that was chapter 12. Okay. And then we had chapter 13. Chapter 13 was all about AI, artificial intelligence in credit, lending, and mortgages. The good thing about our book, you guys already know about, the way that Chan, Hogabaum, and Chow, they present everything in our artificial intelligence and business book is that everything is really straightforward and truly granular. So all you have to do is take good notes because they always simplify everything for you guys. That's the reason why I don't go over the chapters with you, because if I did, you would never read the book because you rely on me to give you everything you need, because I've been previously told on numerous occasions, hey, Dr. Mark, we don't never read the book because you tell us everything. So you guys already know, like I told you in week 1, I don't read that. I don't read the books to you guys or go over the chapters. You guys have to read it and go over the chapter. Okay. So, anywho, so 12 and 13 should have been straightforward. All you had to do was take those good notes, especially going in this upcoming transition into week 7. Chapter 6 should have been really good. As long as you lay that down in regard to AI and insurance, as well as AI and credit, lending, and mortgages, that would have supplant you now as we move forward into this week 7, as we're going to add on to it. So anyway, so the book was really good, guys. So I hope you guys, and like I said, I looked at your assignments. It looked like you really did enjoy it. Everybody turned in all their assignments. And I'm really, as I told you earlier, really happy about that. And then we had those 4 lecture videos that I gave you. I really do enjoy this because you guys know that I like giving you something tangible so you can actually see, feel, and or touch. If you have a touch screen monitor, yes, you can actually touch the tangible video. So it is actually something tangible that you can see, feel, hear, and touch. Okay. But the first lecture video that I gave you last week was that power of AI in insurance. It was a great video. The presenter did a tremendous job going over that, how AI actually plays a huge part in the insurance industry, as we all know. And then the second one I gave you, as I mentioned last week in week 6, was all about AI and banking, right? So that was also an excellent read, or excellent listen, rather, that is, video. And the presenter, Aruna Patham, did a phenomenal job going over that, how AI is really integral in the banking industry. You wonder why it's easy to use your debit card and your checking account now, because everything is so AI centric. Going to the supermarket, you just press the transaction machine with your card now, and everything goes back to your debit card or checking account. So AI is huge in banking, and that goes back to your banking institution. So you guys saw that video of how all that works, and that's just one key example. Banking is so huge now. So I'm hoping that you guys really enjoyed that tangible lecture video. My third one that I gave you last week was the AI in mortgages, which was a huge topic here for this week, or this previous week 6, right? So AI and mortgages, we all know about mortgages, how we pay our mortgages these days online, or it gets automatically debited to your account, all the above. But AI does play a huge part in homeowners' mortgages, or anything of something that you have to mortgage, not just homes. Okay. And then last but not least, the fourth video, and I really like this one. This was all about Visa, how it works. Visa's artificial intelligence. So, and I'm hoping that you enjoy that. That was all about the credit card and Visa in the credit card industry, guys. That was a phenomenal lecture video. So all four were truly phenomenal. And I'm hoping that you guys really got something out of those and took good notes. Okay. I'm always advocating to take good notes on these lecture videos, so that way when it pops up again, you got everything dictated. You're ready, and you're not coming in blindsided. It's like, oh, I didn't know we was going to have a question or two about the actual Visa artificial intelligence. Oh, I didn't know we was going to have a question or two about artificial intelligence in marketing. Oh, the same thing in banking. Hey, Dr. Mark, I didn't know. Well, you do know, because I'm always advocating take notes, take notes, take notes. Okay. So that, to me, guys, you should have been good with Hogabom, Chan, and Chow in regard to artificial intelligence in business for our concepts and cases book. So, like I said, it should have been really huge. And then the last thing that I gave you was those 2 articles, right? So I wrapped everything up to go back to that overall overview of this past week 6. And those 2 articles was all about AI and insurance, as I mentioned last week. And the same thing with the second article that I gave you was AI can make bank loans more fair. So those 2 articles, you didn't have to take notes as always. All you needed to do was just print those out, the same those to actually save those finger cramps. Okay. So it's always good whenever you can just print something out. I'm always advocating print it out, print it out, print it out, save the finger cramps. Okay. For when you really got to take uh, an abundance of notes, especially like on those lecture videos and from the book. So there's no notes already pre-done from the book. You have to actually take notes from those 2 respective chapters 12 and 13. Okay, guys. So to me, that was pretty much in a nutshell the learning materials that you guys had to look at, that I gave you, that I really want you to be solid on in week 6. And then we had the 2 assignments, right? So the first assignment, as I mentioned, was that discussion. Uh, it was our week 6 discussion number 6. It was all about understanding AI in the credit, lending, and mortgage industries, right? And as always, it's worth 35 points. And there was 3 pivotal areas that I always want you guys to answer the 3 questions, right? Pretty straightforward. Again, it's all about that initial post, because that's the most ones. That initial post is always weighted more. So if you're late on that initial post, as I always tell you, you're going to lose significant points. But you can always come back and do your your peer review responses, but still you're going to lose more points on the credible on your initial post because that is more credible. You got to apply more, and you got to answer those questions and give me my in-text citations along with the references. So, and whereas your peer responses, you're just responding back to your peers in a scholarly manner with 3 in-text citations and references. Okay, a minimum. So, as you saw, the 3 questions that I presented last week, as I discussed with you, was all about conducting research to identify a company that utilizes AI in credit, lending, and or mortgage decisions. Okay. My second question that I posed last week was provide a brief overview of the company, including their industry, products, or services offered, and any other relevant details. And then my third initial post question that I asked, as always, I wanted you to analyze how the company utilizes AI to achieve better results in its credit, lending, or mortgage efforts. You may consider, as I always tell you, you may consider specific AI tools or techniques they actually use and the benefits they have experience from implementing AI, right, in its financial strategy and any potential drawbacks. And you guys already know since week 1, I like it when you tell me what type of drawbacks, bottlenecks, problems, issues, and or limitations that they had to their approach. I like that because to me, when you can find bottlenecks or issues or drawbacks, it makes you better because you can't put a band-aid on it. You have to fix it, literally fix it and sustain it. And as you guys progress in your careers, in your AI careers, you're gonna be like, you know what? Dr. Mark did say that. You know, you can't put band-aids, you have to actually sustain it, fix it, and follow back up and say 3 to 4 months and make sure that it's still sustained, right? With controlled processes and procedures, make sure it stays in place. But you guys will see if you're not already seeing it. But those are the things that happen in real life because there's always drawbacks, some type of limitation, or some type of bottleneck that always happen. But you got to be bright enough, and that's a good thing about you guys, my AI scientists, my scholar practitioner leaders, SPLs. You guys are truly bright, and you guys will always, I can see it when you're in the real world. You will not just put a band-aid on whatever the bottleneck is or the drawback is. You will actually fix it and make sure it's sustained. So always remember that, guys, okay? Now, we know that that initial post was due by 11:59 on Friday, and then had to be a minimum of 100 to 150 words. Okay, and then your peer responses, which was due by that Sunday, as usual, a minimum of 50 words up to 100, with my 3 in-text citations and references on each of those items. Okay, so it's a total, as always, 9 in-text citations with the corresponding 9 references. Okay, so that was your discussion topic. Pretty straightforward, guys. One thing about me, I'm true to form, and I've never changed that since we initially started doing that on week 1. So that's always a good thing. At least you can say, you know what? One thing about Dr. Mark, he's very consistent. Yes, I am, guys. So I try to be that way, okay? Because I don't try to fool you guys or try to bamboozle you, and that's not fair. Okay, so all right, and then the last assignment that we had last week was our case study. And that was, as I mentioned previously, that was all about Allstate, okay? And that was pretty straightforward. I only had 7 small questions. The first question was all about how does Allstate use AI and big data in its operations. Number 2 of 7 was what was the goal of Allstate when it collected that 11,000 terabytes of data from 1.2 million people every day. Do you guys remember that? Aha. So I hope you enjoy that. And then thirdly was why did Allstate turn to the Colossus program and what were the issues they faced with this? So I'm really looking forward to reading that. And number 4 was how did Allstate's creation of the error tip help them gather more data and make more accurate claims. Number 5 was how did machine learning, ML, help Allstate turn the company around after a major employee turnover? Number 6 was how does Allstate use the data they collected to improve customer satisfaction and business outcome? And then 7, the last one that I wanted from our case study was, what competitive advantages does Allstate gain from focusing on market segmentation and identifying fraudulent claims in AI and InsurTech, right? So that was pretty much it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that case study and you could not use sources without giving it credit. So I'm sure nobody did that from what I saw. So good job with the case study and discussion post. I'll see you shortly for our lecture 3 of 7, 3 or 4.